Thanks for staying with us. South Africa's ambassador to Denmark, Zindzi Mandela, has received a talking to from International Relations and Cooperation Minister Naledi Pandor. Mandela's tweets about land thieves and apartheid apologists went viral this past week, with many people taking exception, while others defended her. Now, to tell us a bit more about what's developed, we're joined on the line by Naledi Pandor spokesperson, Lunga Ngelele. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you confirm that that conversation did in fact take place between the Minister of International Relations and the ambassador?
Oh yes, I can confirm, myself, that it did take place on Tuesday evening. Yes, that's when the minister managed to speak to the ambassador.
Can you give us any insight as to what they spoke about and what was brought across by both of them?
Of course, the intention of the conversation was to find out from the ambassador if indeed the tweets were from her. And from what our minister told us, she did confirm that, yes, she sent those tweets and were instigated in the main by a number of negative social media tweets that were directed to her, and she felt she needed to respond to them. And of course, the minister told her about her responsibilities, especially that she represents the president abroad, and that she must not engage in a negative way on Twitter, and that the department has got a social media policy, which it is expected that every government representative, especially the diplomats, must abide by.
For those of us who are unsure about how these things work in government, is there an HR process that guides this kind of thing?
Not necessarily the HR process, but like I said, in every environment where you have representatives, whether it's a company, you would have a police that governs how people are expected to behave. In this case of the Department of International Relations, we have a social media policy wherein we are asking people to observe it by making sure that they tweet constructively, and also in the main they tweet about the policies of government, of which the issue of the land that Ambassador Mandela was talking about is an issue that we know government has taken a position on. But where the minister had an issue with her is in terms of actually becoming personal in terms of how she responds to the people, and she felt that was not really representative of the position that she holds, especially as a representative of not just the president but also people of South Africa.
What was the response from the ambassador to that which the International Relations Minister pressed upon her with regards to the social media conduct that was more befitting of a diplomat?
Clearly, she understood very well, and we are continuing to monitor the tweets. And since she spoke to the minister, we haven't seen any, and so the minister felt that at least by that she understood the challenge that we are faced with, and that hopefully it's not going to happen again.
So just to be sure, before I let you go, Lunga, the major issue that the minister brought up was what was more befitting of an ambassador in terms of how they interacted with people on social media, and not so much that which was contained in the tweet, because many people said the ambassador calling out so-called apartheid apologists was not the error, but it was more some of the other language in the engagement of some of these characters on Twitter.
Yes, as I've already said, we are monitoring and trying to look at the tweets, but her explanation to the minister that she was responding to derogatory tweets she received that were referring especially to her mother as well as her father, so that angered her to a point where she responded. And so now we want to look at all of the tweets in totality. But I must stress that no matter how much you have been angered, As an ambassador, as a representative of the people, you can't respond in a way that she responded. And that is the point that the minister had an issue with.
One last thing, I know I said it was my last question. There was also a follow-up in terms of some of the threats that were directed at the ambassador. There's one tweet from, I forget the name of the singer who was on Twitter, who threatened the life of the ambassador and also a member of parliament from the DA. Would the minister or the Ministry of International Relations be involved in investigating the source of that threat, or is that something that a different department will be looking into?
I take it will be something completely out of the minister's purview, because she was just concerned about the way actually the reports that she received about Ambassador Zindzi Mandela in particular. That is what she looked at. If there are other issues, and then maybe if they require the minister's intervention, she would have to look at them as they are reached to her. This was concerning the way the ambassador carried herself as an ambassador of the people of South Africa.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. That's the International Relations and Cooperative Minister's spokesperson, Lunga Nqengelele. Thank you so much for giving us that update and making yourself available.